सब चले जाएगा। बंद देख लेंगे। स्वामी जी, we are ready to start.
Yeah, please start.
Yeah. Oh. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं ओम वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Hariom everybody. Hariom Swamiji. I request Swamiji to take over the class from here. Shalinbhai, please pin Swamiji for everybody.
All done, Swamiji.
Yes, thank you. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratan Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We saw last Sunday up to 59th verse. In 58th verse, Yada samharate chayam kurmongani vasarvashaha. See, just as a tortoise withdraws all its limbs when there is any slightest challenge that is there in front of tortoise. The tortoise withdraws all its limbs. So similarly, indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratishtita. Similarly, a wise man, whose wisdom is steady, he is able to withdraw his senses by his mere command. That's called mastery. Mastery over the body, mind, intellect, etc. Mastery, especially mastery over the mind and intellect. That is more important. They are the software tools that we have within, which is actually driving the body and entire life. So the key point is that, can we withdraw our sense organs by our mere command? Can I say no? Can I withdraw my senses? Can I turn within? So if I have mastered this skill, which is not easy to master, many lives of practice is required. And we have been maybe practicing many lives. It's not that first life, our journey. It has started many lives ago. Otherwise, we won't come to this stage where we are today. Whatever stage we are, the ruchi that you have towards spirituality, spiritual thinking, listening to talks, etc., itself indicates that all of you have been exposed to spiritual thoughts since couple of lives or even more. So it takes lives to practice slowly and steady. So his wisdom is steady. Tasya prajna pratishtita. If he is able to do this, then his wisdom becomes steady, undisturbed, unprovoked by any external challenges, by any external situations. So this has been told so far in verse number 58. Now, if withdrawal of senses is an indication for a steady wisdom, then senses are not functioning in deep sleep state, or when a man is sick, his senses are not active. A sick man, he cannot enjoy life. Sick man, senses also are not active. So therefore, does it mean that these people are already achieved a wisdom state? Is it a wisdom state of wisdom, being a sickness or in deep sleep state? Or one who is in coma? Because senses are not functioning. So even though the indication is that senses are to be withdrawn, such is the man of steady wisdom, you cannot equate the state of the man of wisdom with a man who is sick or in deep sleep or in state of coma, where their senses also are withdrawn, they are not active. But that is not the state we are referring to. And what is the difference between a man of steady wisdom and their other sense organs, other sense organs of other three people whose examples I gave just now? What is the difference between their inactivity of senses and the man of wisdom whose senses are under control? What is the difference? Difference is, in all the three of them, whether it's a coma patient or a sick patient or a man in deep sleep state, or in these three, mainly you can take these three examples are enough. But what happens? The vasana to enjoy has not come to an end. So there is a vasana. The moment the guy comes out from coma, his vasanas are all active. Tendencies are active. The seeds of our life are active, very much active, or man who is in deep sleep state, he wakes up and he has all desires. As it is, they come up. They come out, they erupt, they manifest, they disturb in waking play. Or a man who is sick, he may not be in a position to enjoy food or anything, walking, talking, seeing the world, or even listening to music. I gave last time this example. I can't listen. I'm so weak now to listen. It's everybody's experience. If he becomes healthy, then all desires come back. So therefore, nirahari, or the one who is fasting, this fourth example. One who is fasting, on fast. So on fast, senses are not energized to go and run after the objects of the world. Nirahari. So does it mean when senses are not running out after the objects because I am on fast, and therefore did I achieve a tranquil state? I may be feeling tranquil during fast. But is that the state we are referring to? No. Because the moment the fast ends, I start taking food. Again, the senses become active. They get energy. So, what Krishna says is rasavarjam. Because, in all these things, the taste is left. Taste, tendency, the vasana is not exhausted. That is left as it is, untouched. So rasavarjam. So rasahapi asya, even the vasana, the taste of it, longing taste, which is there in the seed of personality as a seed, is exhausted. Parandrustva nivartate. That also turn away only after seeing the Supreme. Therefore, I am not referring to these states, these conditions, one who is hungry, so one who is on fast, one who is very sick, one who is in deep sleep state, one who is in coma. So don't mistake this. Okay. Now, in 60th verse, we have to start now 60th verse. In continuation, the same thought. If a man is not able to control the senses, all of us slip. Everybody's experience, we all slip. On the path, we all slip. I slipped, you slipped. Without slipping, many lives in this life also, we slipped many times. I resolve, and the resolution is slipped again. Again, I may yield to some certain experiences. So that is not a problem. Gurudev says, falling is not a problem, but immediately getting up and start walking is without losing inspiration. That is the way we have to master it. Even I may fail for 1,000 times, I should not be disappointed. My Guru is with me. He is helping me. He is supporting me. He never condemns me. He never forsakes me. He is ever supporting me. So I get up, again I start walking. And because, there is, in the case of spiritual progress, there is no competition. Because Brahman is available to all equally. There is no question of reaching first, reaching second. Why? When you reach there, you've gone beyond time. There is no time is a comparison. No, the time itself is transcended. So time also is not a problem. I don't have to compare. I am sick, I want to be well. Each disease is different. So there is no competition. It doesn't mean that there is only one person can achieve Paramatma, Others all cannot achieve. No, he is infinite and infinitely available for everybody for infinite time. So there is no problem. So all that is, I have to be persistent, be consistent, charaiveti, keep moving, as and slowly as Gurudev says. And ultimately, I want to know who I am. That's it. There ends the matter. Then if I come to know who I am really, and in between the karma obstructs. In the journey, karma obstructs. My karma is obstructing me on my path. Your karma obstructs you on your path. The old vasanas gurgle out, certain challenges comes out, certain disturbances come out. So the path is very rugged path. It's not smooth. It's not that I wish that something happens according to my wish. It doesn't happen. Temptations overrule me, rule over me. So, if this is the case, so eventually, slowly and steadily, we all have to slowly, steadily, eventually, we have to bring certain discipline at the sensory level. That marks the spiritual progress. Okay. So that is unavoidable. Because behind the senses, mind is running. Behind the mind, everything, whole thing is running. Buddhi becomes helpless. Sometimes Buddhi knows that the mind is doing wrong. Senses are going in wrong direction. I know it. But Buddhi is helpless. The mind is not listening to Buddhi. Buddhi is weak. Mind is like a pumpkin. Buddhi is like a small stick, very weakling, like a drumstick, very thin drumstick. So here Krishna says in 60th verse, anyhow, eventually we should bring the senses under control. So that's what he stresses the point. What he says, Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Indriyani pramathini.
Indriyani pramathini.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya. Purushasya vipaschitaha. Indriyani pramathini. Haranti prasabham manaha. Now, he says, if the sense control की बात कह रहे हैं, इंद्रिय निग्रह. Krishna says, this control of senses is so difficult even to a wise man who is striving. So we are relaxed now, listening to this statement. Oh, Bhagavan Krishna knew this problem. At least we have some comfort and solace that Lord Krishna is certifying now that yes, sense control is difficult. Even though you are striving, even though you are trying to control the Indriyas loot away the mind and wisdom. So this, listening to this, okay, Krishna said this. Okay, this is a big problem. There's some solace for us. Okay, this is not that my unique problem, it is universal problem. What he says now, yatataha api. Yatataha means one who is striving. One who is striving. Hey Kaunteya, son of Kunti, Purushasya, of the man. Vipaschitaha. Vipaschitaha Purushasya, of the man who is vipaschit. Vipaschit means wise man. A wise man. Wise seeker. We need not teach him anything. He knows whatever you say, he knows it. Don't you know that you should not be tempted? I know. Don't you know that you made a mistake? I know that. Don't you know that this should not have been done by you? Yes, I know that. But why did you do? That moment, my senses have become so powerful, it took me away from the path. And I lost. This is how murders are committed. All kinds of atrocities are committed. That moment, my wisdom is looted. This is for normal people, it happens. But even a striver, one who is striving on the path, vipaschitaha. So his mind also is looted away. What is that now? Mind, that violent indriyani, pramathini indriyani, haranti, prasabham manaha, sense organs. Which are sense organs now? Indriyani, pramathini. Pramathini means turbulent, powerful, turbulent, very energetic. They loot away the mind. Haranti, they loot. They loot whom? Loot whom? Violently carry away. Whom? Prasabham. Prasabham means violently. Manaha, mind. Haranti, they carry away. They loot, they disturb, they take away the mind. Now I'll give you an example. It makes it very clear for us. So now the chariot is there, chariot. It has 5 horses, representing 5 sense organs. We saw in Kathopanishad also this chariot example is given. So horses represent the senses. And there are reins, the threads, the ropes, reins, R-E-I-N-S. Rein is there, reins are there. And then the reins are in the hands of the driver of the chariot or charioteer, driver. So he has to hold the reins. And the boss or the owner is seated in the chariot. That is you and I. So who is this charioteer? Charioteer is called Buddhi. So Buddhi is in the place of charioteer in the chariot. So you can replace the charioteer there and write Buddhi. Horses is equal to senses. And the reins are there, no? Is equal to mind. Thoughts, reins. So and each 4 or 5 reins are there, they're all to be held. Now see. So there are horses, reins, and charioteer. That is senses, mind, and buddhi. Horses are senses, charioteer is mind, the reins are mind, and charioteer is buddhi. Because he alone drives, no, the chariot is driven by the charioteer. Now, imagine, horses are extremely powerful. Okay. And they are tied to the ropes, the reins, and the reins are not as powerful as horses, meaning not in terms of thickness, in terms of its strength, the strength of the rope, the string. So if horses are just nodding their heads before, in front, this one, try, you are holding tightly or whatever it is, and they break. Or horses just pull the heads forward and they are not very so strong. These reins are weak and reins are actually coming out of your hand, out of your means the driver's hand. They slipped out of the driver's hand. And then charioteer. What should be the charioteer strength? Strength of the charioteer must be stronger than the mind, the reins. So that the reins should be in his hand. He should be powerful, strongest. Stronger should be the mind. and then the strong should be the, I'm not talking senses should be weak. If the senses are weak, then we cannot function in the world also properly. Senses should be there. They should be strong enough. Stronger should be the mind, the reins, and strongest should be the charioteer. Suppose charioteer is weakest and little weak, the stronger than charioteer is the reins, and the strongest is stronger than the reins is horses, then what will happen? Horses will pull ahead when the movement of the hand, not only the charioteer is lifted up, he is thrown out into the space, he is holding on the reins, he is thrown out, falls in front of horses, and same horses trample the whom? The charioteer, the buddhi. And this is what is happening to all of us, if not daily, occasionally. This is my experience, this must be your experience, where the senses are so strong enough, at that moment I wanted to enjoy. I forget all my background philosophy, then I yield to the senses. Then the buddhi is weak. Mind is weaker, buddhi is weakest. Then what will be the condition? This is the condition, what Krishna is referring here. So this is the practical. So what should we do? Buddhi should be the strongest. Under the buddhi, mind should be there. Not under the mind, buddhi should be. No. Under the buddhi, mind should be. And under the mind should be stronger with values and with a kind of energy, proper energy in the mind, so that it need not be pulled, dragged onto the road by the sense organs. So this practical thing is, Master Krishna says that even though you are striving, even though he is a striver, but for him also, sometimes senses violently grab the mind, take him out, drag him onto the road, and put the mind in the midst of senses and completely ruin the mind. So this is what is happening to all of us. There's a kind of degree is there. Degree is different. Degree is different. Sometimes senses may pull you towards a dining table and then towards a particular dish. You may be a BP patient, but I attracted to Andhra achar. You may be a diabetic patient, but attracted to gulab jamun. That moment we forget, the control is lost. This happens. So, how to bring discipline then? One side, vasana pressure. Vasana is pressurizing. It is expressing as desires in the buddhi, agitations in the mind, and then activities are carried out by senses in the outer world. So, therefore, in all Shastras, sense control is being emphasized, has been emphasized. No, does it mean sense control means, is it suppression? No, it is not suppression. Then how to go about it? We will see 61st verse. Tani sarvani samyamya
Tani sarvani sanyamya
yukta asita matparaha
yukta asita matparaha
vashehi yasyendriyani
vashehi yasyendriyani
tasya prajna pratishtita
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता तानि इंद्रियाणि सर्वाणि इंद्रियाणि संयम्य having restrained all the senses. How? It is a tough job. It brings sorrow, it brings suffering. Something I love, something I like. That object has been taken away. I wanted it. Sense organs are running behind it. And I am pulling sense organs want it. I am pulling, trying to pull back. And in fact, even if I am trying to pull, they don't agree. Even if mind is stronger than the sense organs. But they put up their resistance. And wisdom is lost. Cheap, pretty paltry for 1,000 rupees. I may abuse my parents. I may abuse my brothers and sisters. Sometimes 5 rupees, 10 rupees also. I become very. I make a big fuss out of it. I want my 5 rupees now. घर घर में होता है ऐसा. That time you lost it. I remember long back. When I was youth Yuva Kendra member Chinmay Mission, and I was organizing camp coordinator. And at that time, principals, certain times I just, why should I? That kind of a thing. We should be very. There was somewhere in North India, somewhere I was from South, and then we had some huge camp, and then we had to go somewhere. All the details, of course, I remember. I'm not revealing all this. In a bus we hired, and then we went to some place, and then there's some parking lot somewhere. I was the one who coordinated, so I had to pay money to everybody and all. Somebody is asking more. 5 rupees is asking more. 5 rupees more is asking. That's some parking guy. I got angry. In those days, 5 rupees, I'm talking of 92. 30 years back. So 5 rupees was a good amount. It was value. 5 rupees was a good value. So I said, why the hell I should give you more? So he was standing there, and the bus was our tourist bus. I was sitting in the front only, going. And our Brahmacharji, that time Brahmacharji, he became Swami, and he's attained Samadhi recently. We are very close. Much elder to me, but very close. Suddenly, it put me a thought. You are spending so much money liberally everywhere. Why don't you make that man happy by giving 5 rupees extra? What is that you lose except you are talking principle and all, but he is begging 5 rupees more. He has his own logic. He says 5 minutes ज़्यादा हो गया, 10 minutes ज़्यादा हो गया होगा, हम delay किए होंगे. Whatever it is, I don't know the consequence. That the way he mentioned. So it gave a jolt. Yes, suddenly it awakened. Said, what is that? What the hell am I doing? For 5 rupees? Yeah, suddenly that entire clouds have gone. I said, yes, Swamiji, correct, you are right. Why I am holding on to that? That fellow will be happy. 5 rupees, 5 rupees. So that time, some kind of thing, control. So unless somebody gives me wisdom, suddenly that entire dark clouds will go away. These may be small lessons, but it is a principle is learned. Principle. Auto fellow, 5 rupees मांगे, 10 rupees मांगे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? You give somebody, buy a meal for someone. What is the problem? But there the sense organs. Because of attachment, attachment to the objects, attachment to money. So then how do we control? Tani sarvani samyamya. So when I say, first of all, control means not suppression. We are not talking about suppression. Suppression explodes. That is more dangerous. So, without suppression, how should we do? So now here Vedanta, fundamentals of Vedanta is Viveka, Vairagya. These two are important. Then Shat Sampatti will come, Shamadham, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana, and Mokshatva will come later on. But first thing emphasized is Viveka. So after this Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, Mokshatva, some of you are in Vedanta may be studying this Vedanta class. Then comes further studies, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. Extension of this and deeper studies. Without this Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, Mokshatva, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is not possible to do it in a proper sense, with its full flavor. So, Viveka, when we develop, what is discrimination? Vairag, first Viveka. What is right, what is bad, wrong, what is dharma, what is adharma, how to be, how not to be, what is correct in a situation, how to respond. So when this Viveka comes, that Viveka comes again, listening to the teacher only. Somebody has to train me, my buddhi. And then books I have to read. So I must empower the intellect. That's what we have been doing in Geeta classes and Chinmaya Mission study classes, etc., etc. In fact, any class, any study class, by any spiritual organization, what is that we are doing actually? Humanity learning, discrimination. Compassion, kindness, love, extend cooperation. So Viveka should be there. When Viveka is there, so I know that this object is not giving me permanent joy. There's no joy in the object. Why? If there is a joy in the object, that the object should give joy to everybody. Number one, that object should give the joy to same person all the time. Number two, but both are not happening. That object is not giving joy. It may be giving you joy, it doesn't give me joy. Therefore, there is no joy in the object. If there is a joy in the object, it must give happiness to everybody across the board, to all beings. All human beings at least, okay, you take. That is not happening. Even okay, same object in different time, will it give you happiness? No, every object of my possession or enjoyment becomes a burden tomorrow. Anything you take, it is going to be a great burden tomorrow. I will not give you any example for this because you know, you draw any example, any object of enjoyment. It becomes a heavy burden on me. It could be attachment to enjoyment through having company of people around you. It could be people, it could be objects. So any object of enjoyment, after the enjoyment, that object will become a great burden on me. Remember this. You constructed a house, object of enjoyment, burden. Maintenance problem, that problem, neighbor problem, you cannot sell it off. You want to purchase new house, that is not, this old house is not being sold, the property is wasted and the construction is not good. And so many big burden. You want to expand it, there is no space to expand, it is a flat, you can do nothing about it, and then You can't sell it away. You don't have money to purchase again another flat. And this flat you can neither live nor sell it off. The big burden on your heart. And maintenance is increasing day by day. You take a car, burden. Next car, replacement. This has to be, say, it's a junk ho gaya, then it has to be, it's to be scrapped, sorry. Still higher way. We all loved our bodies, physical lives. We wanted to be born on earth. We took birth. The body itself becomes a burden. It has to be. One of our Swami is their colleague, Swami colleague. He's not in mission now. He always says, "Yaar, mere ko jeevan zindagi jeena nahi chahta hu." So why? I said, "Kya hua re?" For only two reasons, he says always. What is that? See, this, every day taking the body to washroom. Brushing, toilet, taking bath, bar urination, and feeding the time to time, two baar. वो तो एक ही बार खाता है दिन में. 24 hours, only one meal he has. He's a great practitioner of yoga and everything. He's only one meal. एक meal khana. If suppose hunger is not there, I don't have to go to washroom, but hunger is there. So these activities itself is a burden for me, he says. Therefore, in Puranas, you come across this is a burden, they say. For an extremely contemplative man, the body, they wait to drop the body. They use this language. So what is the principle here? No object of enjoyment is actually an object of enjoyment. If it is, it should give joy to everybody. And the same person at different time, it doesn't give. Every object of enjoyment, even though we may have an object of enjoyment, but subsequently everything becomes a burden, either due to attachment or due to maintenance, or the problem that object of love would bring to me. It could be a person, it could be a thing. So when I understand this, I will not propel my senses, push my senses towards the sense objects. Yeah, basic food is required, clothing is required. Vyavahara, whatever is vyavahara is required, without being caught up, I will allow the sense organs to move in the world around. It will come later on. How to move in the world. Next sloka, Bhagavan Krishna will tell. Next 2-3 slokas. So therefore, Tani Sarvani Samyamya through Viveka. When Viveka has come, Vairagya will come. Oh, this is the problem with the object. This is the problem of this. When we get that wisdom, born out of Viveka, right kind of discrimination, then I develop Vairagya, non-attachment to it. I may use it, but I am not attached to it. So, when it brings complications or troubles afterwards to me, I am able to detach myself. Tani sarvani samyamya, then yuktaha asita matparaha. He should sit. Yuktaha, sit, he should sit. Yoked. Stay yoked. Stay tuned. Matparaha. Who is your intent? Me. You should keep your intent on me. I am the goal. I am the supreme for you. So, when my goal is to crack IAS or IPS, naturally, I am not intent upon other things like going for a chaat banda to eat, or a movie, or a gossip, or scroll through Facebook, or WhatsApp. Nothing I'm interested in, any of the gossip, nothing travel, nothing I'm interested in. I'm just interested in cracking IAS or IPS I want to be. So my entire focus is only on studies and studies and studies. Naturally, sense organs are perfectly under control. So concentration is directly proportional to the intensity of your intent upon the goal. So Bhagavan Krishna says, if you keep your intent on me, I want Paramatma, I want to know who I am, I want to know the nature of the Supreme, the reality all pervading. I am a Bhakta or I am a Jnani, but intent on Paramatma only. That is alone is truth. That alone is permanent. Rest all is a game. Rest all is Maya. Rest all is a play. So if my thoughts are so strongly fixed on Paramatma, naturally my sense organs are not caught up in the world. Naturally, they are under control. So one side I developed Viveka with respect to the objects of the world outside and the relationship between the objects and me, stating that they are impermanent and everything will give eventually a sorrow only to me. That's one aspect of it. Secondly, my goal is so high, I am not no time to whip my senses and then take them towards sense objects of the world outside. My intent is Paramatma. Therefore, naturally, sense organs are brought under control without any suppression. There is no suppression here. So therefore, Yukta Asita. Asita means steady, is seated happily. Should sit. Asita, asana. Sit means what? Not physical posture. Mind is settled there. Like a dog, very pleasant. That time he had his meal and there is nothing and happily sitting. Observe such dogs. About half an hour, 1 hour, they just sit in one posture only, bringing their tongue happily, undisturbed. Similarly, mind also is not pouncing upon the worldly objects, riding on the senses towards the objects, to embrace the worldly objects. It's not doing. So it just sitting. It will happen. Then alone, tasya vashehi yasyendriyani. So, vashehi, the one in whose control the indriyas are steady, his wisdom, indriyas are brought under control. One under whom his indriyas are brought under control, his wisdom is steady. Whose wisdom is steady? The one whose sense organs are brought under control, not suppressed. Under control. Like for example, do I say that all of you are suppressing your desire to play with the toys? Come on, don't suppress your desire to play with the toys, to play with the teddy bear. There is no inclination for you. This is the toys. I had, not now. I'm grown. Similarly, now I have understood through the grace of the Master, grace of the Shastra, Guru and Guru Parampara. Then my mind is withdrawn. Senses are peaceful. They are not creating any havoc in me, turbulence in me. Otherwise, every sense organ runs and then brings that, this and that, and creates the heavy turbulence in the mind, agitations in the mind. No, senses are peaceful, mind is peaceful. Kept on meditating, thinking about the goal that one day I must achieve that. I must know who I am really, in spirit. What is my real nature? So one under whose control the sense organs are, his wisdom is steady. So previous verse he says that there is no point, my dear Arjuna, if you are simply trying to suppress, no, because even though you are a wise man, sense organs are difficult, they loot away your thing. But sense organs to be brought under control through Viveka. This we have seen in the next verse, that is in 61st verse. Now, 62 and 63. If sense organs, one is unsuccessful, if sense organs are not brought under our control, what will happen? If I just leave the sense organs without any control, जो देखना है देखो, जो सुनना है सुनो, जो सूझना है सूझो, जो बोलना है बोलो, जो टेस्ट करना है टेस्ट करो, जो स्पर्श करना है करो, absolutely you are free. You enjoy whatever you want, whatever way sense objects and sense organs want to be brought into contact, in any way you want to bring in that contact, you are welcome. Please do it. Free. Then what will happen? It is a terrible fall. So this is the psychological ladder of fall. How do we fall? Remember one thing. If you ask one question, where does the fall begin from? Fall of our status, not worldly status I'm talking. Any status, even worldly status also will fall. So psychological status, you just fall down in all our morality, ethics. Slowly we fall down. If you don't wake up, suppose somebody slipped and I suddenly became wake up. Oh, then I can regain my glory. I'm sleeping here, I slipped here, I can regain, I can be cautious. I did not allow myself for total destruction. If I'm very alert, I can correct them in the beginning itself. But where does the fall begin? What is the first step? Misstep, mistake of fall. Here, from that step to total destruction, Satyanash. What do you mean by Satyanash? This is said in steps. In 8 steps are there. In 8 steps, he will speak about the fall, psychological, the ladder of fall. So we'll chant 62 and 63 verses together. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha.
Sangasteshu pajayate.
Sangasteshu pajayate.
Sangat sanjayate kamaha.
Sanga sanjayate kamaha.
Kamat krodho bhijayate.
Kamat krodho bhijayate.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Sammohat smriti vibhramaha.
Sammohat smriti vibhramaha.
Smriti bhramshat buddhinasho.
Smriti bhramshat buddhinasho.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Sangasteshu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Kamat krodho bhijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammohat Smruti Vibhramaha. Smruti Bhramshat Buddhinashaha. Buddhinashat Pranashyati. These are the 8 steps. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Sangasteshu Pajayate. Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha. Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinashaha. Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Systematically. This we will take up next Saturday. Important slokas. We have only 4 minutes left. It's not possible for me to cover these 2 slokas in 4 minutes. So we will take up this class next Saturday. Very important subject we will study. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you for the class. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We have no announcements for today, so we'll just wind up the class for today. Thank you once again, Swamiji. Hari Om.